Welcome back to the series, How to Help Your Kid Master Addition and Subtraction of Fractions the First Time. This is part 5. We are getting ready to move into subtraction, but first I wanted to make sure that we are focusing on those pieces that will help our students be successful when they get to subtraction. And that piece is really helping the students to think flexibly, using composing and decomposing to take those values apart and put those values together when they have parts that are the same size. That's when it's easiest for kids to see and understand those relationships that will help them so much when they get to subtraction. So we begin as always with the real world context. Julia ran 7/3 miles on Monday and 2/3 of a mile on Tuesday. How far did she run on both days? Of course, we want them to create a model, 7/3 plus 2/3, but here really focusing on the size. And so when they are having to determine if they have a common denominator, you've already laid the groundwork for that. And so when they have this 2/3 they're adding, they need to be thinking about how they make a whole. So they can take those 2/3 and place them in the same whole as this 1/3 and make a whole and see why that is true. They actually move this and do this with the representation. So they understand why the 3/3 plus a 3/3 plus a 3/3 is 9/3, which is also equal to 3. So they are renaming and finding equivalents with the same values, and this will help them when they get to the subtraction component. So with 7/3 here, it's decomposed into its parts, 3/3 plus 3/3 plus 1/3, and they're adding on the 2/3. So they take the 3/3 and make it 1, and then they compose or put those the 1/3 and the 2/3 together to make a whole. So it's decomposing and composing. And then the 7/3 plus 2/3, they add those pieces together and get 9/3 and understand why 9/3 is equivalent to 3 wholes. But the thing that we want the kids to know from working with fractions that have the same denominator is that they're the same size, so that when they get to fractions that have different denominators, which means that there are different sizes in the whole, then they'll know when they need to change them, they'll know why they need to change them, and they can think flexibly to make their work easier. And this helps them with the subtraction. To help kids think flexibly, what you can do is give them a problem like this, where Julia wanted to run a total of 7/4 miles on Monday and Tuesday. How many miles could she run each day to meet her goal? So they draw it out and then they figure out, well, what could she run? So here I decompose it into 2/4 on Monday and 5/4 on Tuesday. And so it could be any combination of fourths as long as it's for the 2 days and it equals 7/4. And so this is a practice that you want them to have. You want them to go through this level of thinking and be able to do this without a model. This supports them when they are having to regroup or rename a fraction before they subtract something from it. So for this one, I said it could be 4/4 on Monday, 3/4 on Tuesday. It just has to make sense. Kids have to understand what it means when they're decomposing these and what it means when they recompose them or put them back together. So I have 7/4 on 6/4 on Monday and 1/4 on Tuesday. And then on Monday, 3/4, and on Tuesday, 4/4. So it just has to make sense, and they have to understand what it is they're doing, why they're doing it. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to get your copy of Fractions Made Easy, a helpful resource that provides a list of support videos with pictorial representations to help you get your kids to where you want them to be.